You're listening to MRP, the Metal Robot Podcast, the podcast about all things metal and everything in between. And welcome to the 14th episode of the podcast. God, 14 episodes. It doesn't feel like it should be 14 episodes, but it's true. We got to 14 episodes. We managed to get past the dreaded 13th episode. And I'm not saying dreaded like I regret that episode ever happening, because no, we had a lot of great discussions in that video, in that episode. But I mean dreaded like, why did this video take so fucking long to edit? I'll talk more about that in a bit, but this episode, we talk about some great female-fronted metal bands and some so bad it's good music videos. And I also get into some reviews for 3 recently released albums by Of Mice and Men, Austin Taft, and King of Asgard. All of this and more, so stick around. Also, before I get started, actually, if you have a podcast that you need an editor for, or you want to make it sound professional, then I have just started up a new gig on Fiverr.com where I will edit your podcast episodes starting at $10 a podcast, depending on the length of the podcast, of course. But for you, special Metal Robot podcast listeners, I've got a special deal for you where I will edit the first 5 episodes of your podcast for 50% off. Stick around for the podcast to find out how that can happen for you. But with that said, let's not waste much more time, and let's get straight into it.
You're listening to MRP, the Metal Robot Podcast.
So one of the most recent trends I've seen in metal recently has been female-fronted metal bands. And it's kind of a new trend because for the longest time, of course, we were so fucking weird about having females in metal. I guess because you think if you're the kind of person who still thinks women shit sparkles, then you are too young to be listening to this podcast. But nonetheless, I think nowadays we become a bit more accepting of bringing in the female community into the metal genre. And to talk more about this, I brought on my good friend, once again, a podcast regular, Collin Sterling. Collin, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Tom. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to have you back on the podcast. The last one you were on, so long ago, was it the literal last episode of the podcast?
So when do I officially become the co-host?
all in due time, my friend. All in due time. Actually, funny thing about the last episode, before we get into the topic, I wanted to quickly talk to you about that because the recording was about as smooth as you can get for that episode, and putting it together in the DAW, my DAW, afterwards was easy as well. But holy fucking shit, can you imagine how much of a pain in the ass the video was to put together? Because for whatever reason, the podcast came out, if I remember correctly, on the 14th of April or 16th of April, around that time. And the video was not out that day. The video did not come out that day because it was still in the middle of editing. I was having problems with the editing software and getting everything put together. Not to mention time with my work. Mm-hmm. So 1 week later, it finally comes out. Second. Oh, and we lost Collin. Okay.
Tom, I'm talking to Tom right now.
We're on a podcast.
I even texted her. I am so sorry I'm so sorry about this, buddy.
No worries. I love it. But no, the video portion of the podcast, that took so fucking long to finally get together because it was a fucking nightmare to edit. It took a week to finally get out, which is why I'm sure some listeners were disappointed to see, hey, where's the YouTube version of it? I only listen to podcasts on YouTube. Where is my goddamn podcast? So that's what happened last time. Either way, long story short, I love editing, Collin. I love editing so much.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God.
If
you can tell by my videos, the lack of editing I do is intentional.
Well, you know what? Lucky bastard. Yeah, a funny thing, I was talking with Tristan of the Metal Tris about that too. He's like, there's minimal editing and then there's whatever the fuck I'm doing. But
well, I was just about to say, with the length of my videos and all that, I feel it should be a podcast, but I feel I don't have the time and the proper equipment and recording essentials to start a podcast. You have all the essentials, but Tom, we're getting off topic. We're here to talk about female-fronted metal bands because let's be real here. From the 90s all the way now to 2021, there's been a boom of them. And let's be real, as metalheads, they kind of turn us on. A lot of them are better than the guys.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you on that one. There's a lot of metal bands nowadays. Some of my personal favorites. I saw my personal favorites where they were before we saw this trend really start to climb. Like at least in the most recent years. But nowadays, I find like quite a few of my personal favorites are female-fronted metal bands. It's kind of a weird trend because I always enjoy, especially when I get the album on my desk for review.
Yeah.
Like whenever I see, oh, the band has a female in the front or a woman in the band, I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty exciting. I want to take a look here because inclusivity and shit. Also because it can be pretty good. I've noticed in recent days, especially, that when you give a woman an instrument, they tend to show up any guy that could easily take that spot. And the best part is, I know it pisses some people off, which is why I love it. Like, it's why I love it so much. But yeah, no, like some of my personal favorites are female-fronted bands. What about you? What's your take on that?
My take is this: female front, or just women in metal in general, are all built the same, as in the fact that they are out to prove that they are better than the guys. Now, this isn't something that's new. No. This has always been the case. Women are always trying to outshow themselves to, their male competitors, you can say, right, in a way. And that makes for great metal, whether they be guitarists. I find bass is a bit hard because you're drowned out by everything else. But, the intent is there to prove that you are better than your male counterparts in the metal industry.
Well, actually, funny thing is, on the note of female bass players, I know there's one bass player I follow, Becky Baldwin Bass. She's phenomenal bass player. If you ever find any of her stuff on Instagram or on Facebook or in general, fucking phenomenal bass player. Phenomenal. You don't get a lot of those nowadays, even in the male counterpart. You just don't get a lot of bass players in general.
Yeah.
But when you do, you get some really great ones that shine through. And Becky Baldwin, is my personal opinion, is a really great bass player in general. But as for female-fronted ones, let's start with you, Collin. What is the first one you want to talk about that I'm guessing you brought to the podcast?
The first one I want to talk about, honestly, I feel from our country, she is the best, one of our best female vocalists.
Is it Unleash the Archers?
Yes, it is Unleash the Archers. Of course, I'm talking about Brittany Slays. You know how much I love Unleash the Archers, but what I love most about Brittany Slays is I went on record and I told her this when I interviewed her. I believe either the first or second time. You can find the video on Thrashers Paradise, me interviewing Unleash the Archers vocalist Brittany Slays. But I told her what I love most about her vocal style is that storytelling aspect, because especially in the genre they in of power metal, you have to be able to storytell through your vocals and through your lyrics. And for me, there's no one that compares to her in the power metal genre right now. And she's really good at singing. Let's just leave it at that. She's good at what she does.
Dude, I agree with you on that one. Funny thing is, I got a list of female-fronted metal bands here, and no joke, she's at number 6 on that entire list I've got here. There's no particular order. I was literally going in there like, okay, what female-fronted metal bands do I enjoy listening to, and which ones do I know about? Okay, I got the blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, Unleash the Archers in there. I forgot. I put them on the best of the year list in 2020. Let's put them in there.
Yes.
So I should just start talking like, well, they're a Canadian band. They got a great vocal. I was like, I think I know where you're going with this.
They're Juno nominated too.
That is true. Yeah. That is true. Speaking of which,
so we find out.
Speaking of which, the one I actually because this wasn't going to be the first one I was going to point out. Yeah, you know exactly who I'm pointing out. Lindsay Schoolcraft is on my list, and for good fucking reason. Not because I'm biased, not because she's been on the podcast before and on the show before, and me and her are friends on Facebook, but because of the fact because of the fact
friends matter,
exactly. We've met at shows before. It's nothing new, but
I know.
But the big thing is that the reason why she's on the list is because if you've ever heard any of her work, whether it's with Cradle of Filth or with her solo work, or even Antiqua, holy shit, she deserves to be on here. And to be fair, it technically shouldn't count because it's a solo artist band, right? But the thing is, she holds her own as a great frontwoman for her solo project because you and I, we've seen her live, right? Like have you been to her live show?
Oh yeah.
Yes. So you know exactly
Yeah,
what I'm talking about.
we saw her at the
Rockers Without
Reverend's
Borders
radio shows.
Yeah.
Yes, where she
s-
did that harp set, and it was
Yes.
beautiful.
I saw her for the first time at the release show, actually, for Martyr. When it, like for the release show when she was opened by Astroth Incarnate and Pussy and. No, she was
My
not.
cat walked into the camera. That's why he said pussy.
No, she was not opened by Pussy. She was open. God, who was the other? Oh God, I have a sticker for
Astroth
them.
Incarnate.
Yeah, Astroth Incarnate, but someone else.
Oh,
I've
no.
got their sticker. Darkstone Crows. Darkstone Crows. So
Okay.
so she was opened by those two acts, and I saw it live there. She did a phenomenal job at the show as the front woman, and even the backing band with Cody and everybody else. I forgot their names already because I suck. They were all fantastic.
She is one of them.
Yes, you are right about that.
It is funny enough because I interviewed her not knowing she was Lindsay Schoolcraft's bassist because she's the guitarist for a London band called Necrosaurus Rex.
Ooh.
And I only found out she was Lindsay's bass player after we became Facebook friends, and it was just like, oh, what the hell?
Oh yeah, that was it. But I will say she did a good job at the show too. Everybody at that show did a fantastic job, and that's kind of one of the big things that I feel Lindsay Schoolcraft did a great job of. She's a great performer. She's a great singer. She's a great songwriter. So it was worth mentioning her on the list, which is why I think is one of the main reasons why she was also Juno nominated. Damn shame she didn't win, but I'm glad about who did win. I'm glad about that. Striker's great band. If anyone was going to beat out Lindsay Schoolcraft, I'm glad it was Striker. But we're getting off topic here.
Yes,
Collin,
we need to continue talking about the amazing female-fronted bands, not just in our country, but all over the world.
Yeah, we need to keep talking about women who are better than everybody. So, Collin, who's the next one you got?
The next one I got, I think, without question, she is currently one of the bigger female vocalists in the metal genre right now. She has taken the world by storm. And obviously, I'm talking about Tatia of Ginger from the Ukraine.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. Ginger's amazing.
And obviously, we all know of her mainly because of the Pisces live studio video that was released to the Napalm Records YouTube video or YouTube channel. And that just simply enough blows you away to what her vocal range is and how good she is at what she does.
Oh, dude, hands down. That is a metal converter, is what I call, because that is that's one of the ones that shocks non-metalheads enough to buy an album. That's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Funny thing, I actually, for a different video that's hopefully going to be coming out this week, I brought my buddy, the only one to, Corey Davies from college, the only one to on YouTube.
Corey, yes.
Yeah. I sat him down to watch some metal music videos.
Oh no.
I got some great suggestions for that one. He got weirded out to shit, but one thing he loved was Ginger. Ginger was one of the big ones that he enjoyed. So much so that he was like, "Hey, yo, my girlfriend might be interested. How about you, Tatiana? How about you hit her up, huh?" That was great. It was so. Long story short, he enjoyed Ginger, and I don't fault him for that. I agree. But what aside from Tatiana, is there any part of the band that you thoroughly enjoyed about them? Like aside from Pisces?
God, yes. Like in general, like the group as a whole is pure perfection from Ukraine. Like they come from a country that's not really known for having a huge metal scene. And they just kind of broke out. And be honest, like you might know them from Pisces, but they have so many other stellar songs. One of my personal favorites is Who's Gonna Be the One, which is just a hard-hitting, brutal track, which is off of the same record a different record of Pike. Yes. English. It's off of their first record, and it's so stellar. There's also I Speak Astronomy, which is great. Perennial, which came off of the Micro EP, and that one was a standout from that one. Like the fact that they're not even like 10 years into this metal famous, and you can already name off a handful of songs, should already tell you just how good Ginger is. And I will say this, I got really pissed off when I didn't go see them when they came to Toronto.
Oh, I've seen a couple clips of their live shows, and my God, I want to go so fucking badly. And
Yes.
but yeah, I agree.
We have to go as soon as they come.
Yes, 100%. even if they come before this whole COVID thing is over, I'm like, fuck it, I'm risking it. Let's go.
Well, hazmat suit up.
Hazmat suit up. We'll show up in fucking dinosaur costumes if we have to. But the funny thing, I agree with the instrumental part that you were talking about, because one thing I've noticed, especially with Pisces, these guys are a sort of metalcore band, but they've got the fucking chops to be a prog metal band. Hands down. They've got a lot of progressive tendencies with them, and they don't shy away from it at all. 100%, they're fantastic. And if you have not heard Ginger already, dear listener, you should fucking change that right away, because it's a crime if you have not heard Ginger. At least once. Another one I wanted to bring up. This one's not one of my personal favorites, but they're slow. But I just got both of their albums that are out. A band called Vintersea. I talked about them last episode with you, Colin. The one that
okay.
Yeah, I talked about it.
Were they the French one you interviewed?
French? No, that's Achiavel, actually. But that also is on my list because, my God, they're good. Achiavel's good. They're like melodic death metal. Check them out. But Vintersea is a different one. They're the melodic, blackened, weird thing I told you about last time.
Yes.
Oh, guys, holy shit. I first heard Illuminated, which is like the song off the most recent EP. And I heard that song and I was like, okay, I'm fucking hooked. This is really good, heavy shit. She kind of reminds me a bit of like Tatiana, but American, and also not as fucking like mind-blowing, but still fucking amazing. If you ever get a chance to hear Vintersea, it's sort of like a cross between blackened death metal, but also very melodic metal at the same time. It's a weird combination. I've never heard personally anything like them. I can't draw too many comparisons with these guys. They're a solely unique band that you have to hear on your own. Anyways, that's my recommendation. Colin?
Yeah, for sure. The more and more we talk about it, the more and more we just pass on probably one of the first successful female-fronted metal bands, and we should talk about them because they played, and more importantly, she has played a huge role in the upbringing of female bands that have gotten into this popularity now.
Are you referring to who I think you? If I might, sorry,
it's not Doro. It's not Doro. I know it's not her. It's not Joan Jett. It's not who's that famous guitarist that did that Aussie song? Lita Ford. It's not Lita Ford.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Tara and Nightwish.
Oh.
Because to this day,
yes.
she is still considered the greatest female vocalist in all of the metal genre. And she doesn't scream. She doesn't do the arch enemy Alessa Whiteless stuff. She doesn't do any of that. She does the opera sound. And the fact that her voice, as a professionally trained opera singer, stands heavier than a lot of the other bands and a lot of the other male bands, just say a lot about what Nightwish did for themselves, because they created the greatest Finnish metal band to ever come out of Finland. And they are recognized as that to this day. Like, even the bassist, Marco, went on to Finland Masked Singer and won it. Like, you don't hear about that every day. And Nightwish will forever go down as one of the best female-fronted bands.
They're definitely one of the pioneers, especially of the symphonic metal genre as a whole, of female-fronted bands and symphonic metal. And Tarja Tulonen is definitely, of all the vocalists that Nightwish has had over the years, because Tarja is no longer with the band, obviously, but of all the vocalists that have come out, even Floor Jensen, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's fantastic, but still, Tarja Tulonen, in my opinion, is the queen of Nightwish, hands down. I almost said king in a desperate fit of like. I almost said king in like a desperate fit of like, oh my God, this is amazing. But I was like, wait, no, don't do that. What can I say? Like, words just come out of my mouth, and there's no way to stop them. I don't know what to tell you, but I agree. Nightwish is one of the big pioneers of that one. Like, they were the ones that kind of started it all, especially when you think about it. Like with a band like Epica, who is on my list. Epica's like they kind of came afterwards, but if I had to choose actually between Nightwish and Epica, I don't know what. I guess Epica is actually the one I usually go to the most. There's a reason for that though. I love Nightwish to death, but I also like the fact that Epica is also doing their own thing. They're both female-fronted symphonic metal bands, but it feels like Epica is leaning way more towards the death metal aspect. Like they're incorporating way more. You could probably thank the founder Mark Jensen for that because he's been in a lot of death metal bands even before Epica. Yeah, I know. Fuck yeah. But like, Epica is like, that's what I go to because it's like, it's clearly like epic, hence the name, but also it's fucking brutal. You've heard the most recent album. You know exactly what I'm talking about with that. Holy shit.
Yeah, they are truly, I never got Epica until I sat down and listened to the entirety of Omega. Now I understand what the purpose of Epica is. Hi, baby. Hi. Sorry, my cat decided to join me. Yes, hi, Frida.
You have a pussy. I was about to go Rammstein.
Du hast.
Exactly, yes.
This is Katsun. Okay, I'm putting you down because you're starting to get bitey.
Oh, that's not fun. That's not fun at all. Oh my god.
No, it's not.
No. But if I could actually interject with another one. No, Scott. If I can interject with another one, just getting off the symphonic metal train, Evanescence, of course, is one of the big ones that you got to mention because they're the ones that like I wouldn't say they're the best of the symphonic female-fronted metal style, but they're one of the few ones that broke into the mainstream. Like, there's not a single person nowadays who doesn't at least know the opening to Bring Me to Life. There's not a single person I can think of. I literally did it as a meme in one of my videos. That's how fucking influential these guys are.
Yeah.
I
know.
You don't see me trying to fucking poorly perform Bring Me to Life unless it's for a joke and or anything for a joke. And fucking you gotta bring Evanescence in there for the goth purposes, of course. But Jesus Christ, these guys are influential as hell.
Yeah, but no, Tom, it's kind of, I'm wearing the shirt and we should talk about them because they are one of the pioneers of that amazing Swedish melodic death metal sound. And of course, we're talking about Arch Enemy. In the beginning, we're not female fronted. And as time went on, they became it. And holy shit, did they set the bar with songs like Root of All Evil, personally one of my favorite albums, Nemesis, and how can we all forget oh shit, what's that one?
What album are you thinking?
That is Nemesis.
Oh god,
damn it, I gotta go.
Will to Power?
I gotta go. Yeah, no, not Will to Power. No.
That is a good one though.
It is. No, I'm talking about the one before. Hold on. Let me do my simple.
I've got.
Here we go. It's off. Oh, We Will Rise. There we go.
Okay.
Yes, off of 2003 Anthems of Rebellion.
Yeah, actually, the funny thing is, I remember reading somewhere, because like you mentioned, Arch Enemy was not always a female-fronted band, and you're right about that. Angela Gasso was the first female front woman to come up to Arch Enemy before Elisa Whiteglows. Yeah. But before that, we had a guy, who is it? Johan Lilva, I think that's how you pronounce it. Liva. Mm-hmm. If anybody here is Swedish and is laughing at me right now, I'm sorry. Anyways, so But that's the funny thing. Once Angela Gasso came on as the front woman, I remember reading that people were fucking pissed about that when that happened. Because this was back in 2000, 2001? This is in the early days before female-fronted metal bands were a thing. And the fact that a woman came on and replaced a man, people were not happy about that. They didn't like it. When it was first announced, from what I heard. But of course, nowadays...
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Especially back then, not surprised, especially with metal. We pride ourselves in being a very accepting community, but... Even we have our own we have our own demons that we all deal with when it comes to our own, what's what I'm looking for?
Well, when we deal with our own demons, of course, but was that the term? I don't know.
I'm probably just throwing it out there because it sounds cool, but our own biases, I think maybe is the word I was looking for, because maybe. Because everyone knows at this point, metal, even though again we're a very accepting bunch, we're very much White Boys 3000.
Hold on. as a metalhead, we're very cautious about who we let into the community and who we embrace and who we enjoy because we're not sure if they truly appreciate metal back. Some people could just be doing it just for the hell of it, or they're in it to try and make money. Like there are so many different things. Like every metalhead will not agree on everything. Okay.
True.
Some believe Sabaton's the greatest power metal band to ever come out of Sweden. Others do not agree with that, and that's okay.
Others think
as
Limp
metalheads,
Bizkit's a good band.
Hey, Limp Bizkit. I'm kidding. I went past my Limp Bizkit phase.
I was gonna say, like, where are you going with this?
If this was high school me, I'll be like, Limp Bizkit's in the house, y'all. And now it's just like, why was I listening to them? Why was I listening to new metal in 2017?
To be fair, new metal came out with some good ones.
We'll never know.
But we're getting sidetracked here. But yeah, no, Arch Enemy, I did read that, yeah, they were not originally accepted with Angela Gasso. But I think once that their first album she did came out in 2000, if I remember which one it was Wages of Sin, I think, was the first one. She, at that point, I think everybody heard that she could fucking cut teeth and were like, I'm shut the hell right up right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it paved the way from that point forward for like female-fronted death metal, which is like unheard of before then.
Huge. Yeah.
All right. We're coming close to the end of the segment here. Do you have any more you want to recommend?
Any more I want to recommend? Well, I would like to shout one out. She was one of Canada's first female metal musicians, Lee Aaron. And, without her, and a lot of the other front women of Great Past, we wouldn't have the women of metal that we do now. And I bring her up more because of her song, Metal Queen, which she intentionally wrote to empower other female metalheads to do what they set their minds to and to be the queens of their metal community in a way. And that is just a beautiful song. If you're into that old 70s, 80s metal sound, you're going to enjoy Metal Queen by Lee Aaron. Enough said.
Fair. Hey, you know what? You got me hooked already, so I'll look it up afterwards. And a couple I do want to mention as like an honorable mention. Of course, we were talking very quickly about Doro Pesh, Warlock. Hailstorm is one of my personal favorites. Lizzie Hale, please message me. Cobra and the
Cobra and the Lotus from Calgary, Alberta. Can't go wrong with them.
So fucking good. Spirit Box, of course. You can't forget about Spirit Box. Blackbriar, which I'm not sure if you know who they are. Of course you know who they are.
Dutch metal band, of course. Luthero from Hamilton, Ontario, fronted by Krista Shipperbottom, who is truly stellar. Album 3 is on the way.
Well, I hope I hear that one soon, and hopefully Luthero is not mad I made an Arch Enemy agonist comparison in the last review I did. Anyways, Dialith is next. Dialith was great. Dialith is like symphonic metal, like fucking think like Epica symphonic metal. Only there's no Mark Jansen of the group. It's all female front. It's all like great fantastic vocals, and of course we can't forget Cecile Monique from Canada. Fantastic vocalist. You talked with her actually on your show.
Yes, I had the pleasure of interviewing her for Thrashers Paradise. And it is a very interesting interview because that was the last one I did my little game called Thrasher Trash, which was now picked up by J-Hop Films for their music review show. So I am kind of looking for my royalties, even though I didn't legally do anything to obtain the name and the rights to it. I'm still a bit salty, but I'm over it because it's Chris and Julian. So
of course. At that point, they're Canadian sweethearts. So I think we can let them get away with that. All right, Collin. Thank you so much for that segment. Stick around a little bit longer. We're going to get into the best, so bad that it's good music videos right after this.
Okay.
If you're looking for a place to hang out, talk about metal, share memes, and just stick around, then you should join the Metal Robot Discord server. It's been around for a bit, and I know that not everybody has Discord, but to that I say, why the hell not? It's a fun place to be to talk with literally anybody. It's kind of like Skype and Messenger rolled into one, only it's not owned by Facebook as far as I know, and it's not a dicky place to go. It's a lot of fun, and it's free for Windows, Mac, and anything on mobile. I have it on my phone, I have it on my computer. I literally load it up. when I'm at work, when, a place where it doesn't have the app, because you can load it up on the website if you log in. Granted, I'm not sponsored by Discord. I want to make that perfectly clear. But, I mean, if I was sponsored, I wouldn't be opposed to it. You know what I'm saying? Discord, hit me up. But the Metal Robot Discord server is a great place to go if you want to talk about literally anything. Right now, we've been sharing a lot of memes in there, but if you want to talk about some metal music, not metal music, you want to share your art, you want to talk about movies, TVs, you want to talk about anime, literally anything you can think about that you want to share with people, you want to talk about, come on in. Let's talk about it. Let's share with us your amazing knowledge on these particular topics. So if any of that sounds like fun to you, then join the Metal Robot Discord server. Link is in the show notes.
You're listening to MRP, the Metal Robot Podcast.
All right, we've officially reached the review portion of the podcast where I take a look at 3 albums from the previous week. That's what I'm going for today. And we talk about them very briefly. Today, let's take a look at the albums. Oh boy, Of Mice and Men Bloom. This might be a bloodbath. Just warning you right now, get the umbrella out. Okay, last time I talked about the metalcore Sad Boy 3000 group was a couple of years back with Defy. I think I remember correctly, I pulled little to no punches on that one. It was not pretty. You can check out the review on the YouTube channel. But looking back, maybe I was a bit harsh on that album, as apparently a lot of Mice and Men detractors thought that it was the best thing they've done in years. So, okay, how about I give these guys another go with the latest EP, Bloom. And listening to it, admittedly, I was a bit more harsh than I should have been to these guys in the first place. I mean, it still sounds like someone wiped it with sandpaper with the recording booth, but these guys have definitely improved since 2014. And looking back, I definitely say the same thing about the last album. What I do enjoy about Bloom, specifically, is the clear intensity displayed with the metalcore bluntness. That chug, 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 chug of the guitars is very synonymous with the metalcore genre. It's as much a staple of metalcore as Being a Dick is with Gene Simmons. And the vocals aren't that bad either. They really aren't. The guitarist for the band is the one who stepped up for the band after the last Sad Boy left the band. And really, he's got the chops to pull it off. He's got the chops to really step up to the plate. But yeah, it's still just metalcore fluff to me. It's not as bad as I remember it being, but the best thing going for it at this point really is the fact that the whole thing is just 12 minutes, because if I had to sit through 40 minutes of uninspired, uncreative metalcore dribble, I'd honestly want Omni-Man from Invincible to splatter my brains against the fucking floor. But yeah, this is metalcore. This is what it's supposed to sound like. But at the end of the day, could they not try anything new at least? I would have loved to have seen them do something interesting, something new that we haven't heard before. But with what we've got, diehard metalcore fans, they will enjoy it. I can at least recommend it to you guys. For me, though, 9.5 out of 15. It's the best I can confidently give. Okay, the only way I can describe Austin Taft's Skeletons is, what the fuck? I mean, when you think you know where these things are going, this album says, I choose confusion, and spins to something completely different. The first track sets you up for thinking that's going to be like a weird heavy metal industrial hybrid with some of the most uncomfortable lyrics that I've ever heard. With cum filled with blood, like a sacrificial slut. I'm sorry, I wasn't really looking to hear lyrics written by Marilyn Manson, okay? I was not really looking for that, thank you very much. But the album actually keeps going from there, and it drastically changes in the fucking second track to prog metal. Prog metal. I do mean prog metal. No joke, I think Rush deserves a licensing credit here. They deserve a second credit for writing. But it just keeps changing from there. I'm pretty sure with all the genre changes throughout the entirety of the album, I got major whiplash. It was fucked up. It was really fucked up. And you know the weird part of it all? I actually kind of liked it. This is a journey that only the daring shall tread, but I can't say I didn't have a good time in a weird, psychotic kind of way. It makes no sense sometimes. Sometimes you could even expect some of these songs to play on rock radio if it was a bit shorter. But one thing is for sure, no matter where you go on this album, you're never bored. hands down, you're never bored. And if you listen all the way through, oh, you're definitely not going to be bored. It's not a great album. After all, the whiplash will give you more brain damage than the time you slept and fell in the Slayer pit, but with a solid 12 out of 15, you won't be bored. I promise you that. This will not be a boring album for you. King of Asgard. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. Like, what? Svartrviõr? Svansolda? Fuck it, I'm not even going to attempt it. But this album is a black metal treat. A chaotic black metal treat. This is the kind of Viking black and death metal, yet also just a black metal album that you could take home to your parents and scare the shit out of them. That's that kind of album. It's fantastic. It's dreary. It's ominous. It's also intense and fucked up in the head. It takes a while to get going, but once you get going, you can't say you're not enjoying yourself like the good little Nordic demon you are. Though, be warned, this is black metal. And not only that, actually, that's underselling it. That's not the right description. This is Viking black metal. I do mean Viking black metal. The Nordic script on the album cover and the fact that these guys are called King of Asgard should have tipped you off almost immediately. If you're not into role-playing with the pillaging and all horned hats that really didn't actually exist in real life, don't at me, then you're going to have a very stressful time with all the berserker rage going on. But as for the rest of you black metal Vikings, 13 out of 15 should hold you down very nicely. So for those of you who don't know already, for the last year or so, I've been doing voiceovers for plenty of YouTube people on Fiverr. Some small YouTubers who want a voice that like mine for their channels. And recently I set up a new gig on Fiverr for podcast editing, because I've been doing this podcast for quite a while as well, and I've learned a lot about audio and editing these podcasts, what it's like to put them together, and how to make them sound as good as they possibly can. And now I want to pass off my knowledge to you. I want to give my skills to your benefit. And for this gig, I'm starting off with $10 for 15-minute podcasts, and it can go up from there, $30 for 30-minute podcasts, 60-minute for 60-minute podcasts and up. But I want to give a bit of a deal to you, dear Metal Robot listener. I want to give you the first 5 episodes of the podcast completely half off. So if you're going for the $10 package, $5, $30, $15, $60 to $30. Now, how do you go about becoming the lucky person to get half off? Well, the first thing you have to do is make sure that you are following me on Twitter at The Metal Robot. And at the time of this podcast being released, there is a tweet posted there under the hashtag Metal Robot Podcast, or as well as hashtag Fiverr Robot Podcast. So hashtag Fiverr Robot Podcast. And on that tweet, I want you to make sure you have liked the tweet and retweeted it. And as well, make sure that you've shared out the Fiverr link for the podcast gig. And once you've done that, if you've met all those requirements, you will be entered into a pool that, from that pool, I will select a random person to win the contest. And that lucky person will have the first 5 episodes of their podcast, whether it's a new podcast or one that's been going on for a little bit. I will have that podcast edited, the first 5 episodes, for half off. Once again, the first 5 episodes edited for half off. All you have to do is like the tweet, retweet the tweet, make sure you're following me on Twitter at The Metal Robot, and make sure you tweet out the Fiverr gig as well. Links to my Twitter as well as the Fiverr gig are down in the description, along with the rules for this contest. So once again, like and retweet on Twitter at The Metal Robot, share out the Fiverr gig, and you might have the chance to get your podcast edited for half off. Sound good? Well, with that said, let's get back into the podcast. Let's talk about some so bad that they're good metal music videos with Collin Sterling. Enjoy.
You're listening to MRP, the Metal Robot Podcast.
All right, welcome back to the podcast. For Collin, that was like a split 3 seconds. But for everybody else, we just went into a couple commercials and a couple of reviews. Which once again, I do want to mention, if you are going back to what I said earlier, if you have a podcast you want to get off the ground and you're looking for an editor, the best way to get a best deal for podcast editing from yours truly on Fiverr is to go back and listen to the rules of the contest. With that said, Collin, welcome back. How you doing?
A lot has happened in the time since we last talked on this podcast. I got a bit hungrier. I got a bit excited, and it's still a day to watch hockey, so I'm not complaining.
Actually, speaking of hockey for a split second, who's playing tonight? Do you know? Because I can't remember who's playing.
Yes, Game 7, Montreal versus Toronto.
Ooh.
In Toronto. Big deal for Canada. 550 fans are allowed to watch the game inside Scotiabank Arena. They're fully vaccinated healthcare workers. I think it's awesome. 550 is huge for us. To the States, that's nothing because they're already at almost full capacity in all of their venues. I don't care. This is going to be great time. I can't wait to see the Leafs choke and lose in Game 7 once again.
Yes! Go, Habs, go!
If they do win, I have no regrets from what I just said. I still believe they'll choke.
If the Leafs do win, I was like, well, carry the Canadian torch, please. Don't lose again, please. But you know what? I've got faith in my Habs.
What are you doing? Why are you giving up?
No, well, okay.
Tom.
I will never drop the Habs flag ever. But if someone has to represent Canada, I would be okay with the Leafs as long as they don't fuck it up again. Remember, you guys haven't won a cup since the '60s. Don't fuck up now, okay? Break that streak. Except not until after if you beat the Habs. Before then, more than happy, lose the game. Anyways, so bad it's good music videos in metal. This is what I love about talking with you. We go on so many weird tangents. And we get so off topic, but it makes for great content. So,
that's because we have great chemistry outside of the podcast and everything.
Yeah.
We're real life good friends.
Yes, exactly. So, I agree with you on that one. Absolutely. So that's one of the best things about bringing it on. Well, of course, that's one of the best things about bringing down this fucking podcast. Infinite content as soon as you come on. So I mentioned this to you earlier. We're going to play a game with this. So we collected. I hope you collected as well. Three bad that they're good music videos in metal. And we're not talking about the music. We're talking about the music videos. And the way this is going to work is you and I are going to go. We're going to start. The first person to describe the 3 music videos they have. They're going to, and after they're described, the goal for the other person is to pick which one is the best, so bad it's good music video among the ones that are brought up. And then we'll flip it over to the next person. Okay. And then we'll have those final 2 music videos compete against each other. So, Collin, let's start with you. What music videos have you brought for us today?
Well, obviously, when it comes to my first one, I think this is the epitome of it when the band themselves consider them the worst metal band in the entire world. This music video, when it came out, no one had any expectations for it. No one knew what to expect, especially with this band. And the fact that this song got way popular and was a hit, and that made them go, what the hell is a lot of people's issues? I am referring to the Green Jelly 3 Little Pigs music video. It's a claymation. Oh, you've never seen it?
No, please go into detail about what the fuck happened.
So essentially, the song title gives it away. It's the story of the 3 little pigs and a big bad wolf. But only the 3 little pigs are a hick, a stoner, and an architect who's the son of a millionaire rock star. So obviously, the big bad wolf, he goes through this claymation musical video and destroys the first 2 houses, doesn't eat them because they're still alive when they go to their brother's house,
Of course, PG.
Architect and all. Of course, the architect, builds a nice looking house. Big Wolf tries to blow it down, didn't work. And, you think, oh, the song's over. It's not, because this poor little wolf is massacred to death by none other than Rambo.
Hold on. Wait. Back up. When did Rambo enter the story?
When the wolf couldn't blow down the house, the pig's called Rambo.
What the fuck?
Again, my picks are just based off of the fact that when you talk about them, it's a lot of them for me are the what the fuck factor. That was the main for me for So Bad It's Good. And to me, there's nothing that epitomizes that more than this particular music video for Three Little Pigs by Green Jelly.
No kidding. All right. So I'm already leaning towards one, but let's hear the other two. What's the next one?
The next one is... Now, these next two are by the same band. They are both by Nenelwar Steel.
Of course.
And I picked them because, yes, comedic bands are supposed to be funny, but when you talk about the concepts, you really just think to yourself, why the hell is this a music video?
Right.
Like, really, why? So the first one I want to talk about. Oh, hi, my love. My little Clarita has joined me again.
Ah.
Chico, I love you. Please leave me alone now. No, so the first one I want to talk about is their latest song that came out. And the issue with it is it's not an English title. There's two titles for it. They did two versions of the song.
Right.
And this is an Italian band. So obviously one version's in Italian. Yeah. The other one's in German. What the hell?
So
okay,
no
anyway,
English versions?
In German, okay, no. So in German, the song is called De Flock des Captain Lago, or Loglu. In Italian, it's La Madeleine de Captain Fedisa.
I totally understood what that meant.
Yeah, I apologize. I apologize to the German and Italian listeners of Tom's podcast if I horribly massacred your language.
Oh, don't worry.
I apologize.
I'm sure they'll forgive you at some point for my mispronunciation. The Swedes won't forgive me, but I'm sure they'll forgive you. I'm sure the Germans will forgive you. Go on.
So the music video for this starts off with two coworkers. One is hungry in the lunchroom, and he wants to eat something. And the other coworker pulls out a box of fish sticks, saying they were the best. Well, the hungry coworker pulls out a can of tuna, saying this was the best. And what happens? You go into an animation of this captain who just one punches a fish and will get 60 sticks of fish sticks. And he ends up fighting this other captain of another boat who's a canned tuna capturer. So while this animation's going on of them fighting, in the real world, these two coworkers are having an Italian cook-off to see what's better, his fish sticks or this can of tuna with pasta. And at this time, there's another coworker in the lunchroom trying to get his lunch, and they're telling him basically to screw off. We're in the middle of something. Anyways, sadly, the battle between the two captains has finished. Their boats are sinking, and the captain of the fish sticks didn't make it as he Titanicked the fish sticks, making sure they lived to see another day.
Good anyways, for the fish.
In the real world, in the real world, the two are done cooking. They're about to eat. What happens? That third coworker who was in the lunchroom pulls out a homemade lasagna from his mama. Now, of course, what's the ideal thing to do? Get rid of that food you just spent all that time cooking and take a piece of lasagna.
Okay. What a fucking journey. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then my last one. This one is just the epitome of what the fuck. So this is the music video for the song, and then I noticed that she was a gargoyle.
So what?
So the song is entitled "And Then I Noticed That She Was a Gargoyle." So it's late night. This guy goes to a bar to drink his sorrows away. He starts talking to the guy beside him about this girl he met online. You know, everything was going great. They had a love of medieval architecture. You know, everything was going well. He took her out for a fancy dinner, and then he realized she was a gargoyle. So, the guy beside him.
What tipped you off? Was it the stone titties or the stone eyes? What was it?
Well, hold on. The guy beside him was trying to be supportive, was trying to be nice and all. But he was confused. And he goes, "What do you mean by gargoyle? Was she ugly? Was she fat? What do you mean?" And then he looks at him and says, "No, she is literally a gargoyle." And what do you have? This nice 5-star Italian restaurant, this guy drinking wine, and what's his date? A literal stone gargoyle. And everyone's looking at him like, what the hell? So anyways, he goes on to just realizing he's in love with the gargoyle and starts making out with the gargoyle. And then the guy who was talking to him at the bar ends up going off to make sweet love to a building.
Sorry, you want to run that by me one more time? He does.
So the guy at the bar finds a building and makes love to it. Fully clothed, of course. You don't want to get that, stone burn.
I was about to say that. I promise you, that's not going in. I don't think.
No. I mean, if there was a hole.
Oh, I'm sure, but do you really think that's going to be a good idea? Because really, how much will be left afterwards? Ow!
So again, I picked my music videos in theory just based off the concept of why the hell does this exist? And it ends up just being the most hilarious thing you've watched. I hope I fulfilled your needs and requirements for the music videos, Tom. I do apologize if I didn't.
No, I think you went above and beyond with that one. Okay. So essentially our choices here are three little pigs.
Rambo massacring a pig.
Rambo massacre a pig. Okay. Or the two men
Mom's lasagna.
Mom's lasagna. Or I fucked a gargoyle. Let me think.
Yeah. I think this would be better if I actually showed you the music video, so then you got an actual opinion.
I think I got a pretty good opinion on this one. I have to say hands down, fucking gargoyles is the best thing I've ever fucking heard in my life. That's be my personal favorite of the bunch. Okay. All right. So, of course, I also brought on a couple music videos too. Not sure if they line up with fucking gargoyles, but I will try anyway. So, I can't take credit for finding this one. Ears. This one was actually found for me thanks to a comment on Facebook. Thank you, Marty Steele of Shadow Cult for
Breaking the Law.
Breaking the Law by Judas Priest.
Breaking the Law by Judas Priest.
So, if for whatever reason you have not seen the video, first of all, it's a great song. Hands down, I love that song. It's a classic, right? Well, it's not my favorite Judas Priest song, but it's a classic, hands down. The video is a product of its fucking time, swear to God. So, best way to describe it, from start to finish. So, our protagonist, Mr. Rob Halford, is driving down the highway ready to commit a robbery of a bank, right? Standard setup, right? When he shows up, his cohorts are Amishmen with guitar cases who then go into the bank and they hold up the bank with guitars while our lead vocalist does some fucking weird crab dancing shit. Oh, I hit the desk. Does some weird crab dancing shit, dancing around, like pointing, doing the fucking lead singer shit in the bank, as if that's supposed to be intimidating. And apparently it's working. They're getting through the bank. The security guards, we kept the security guard every once in a while, and he's looking at this like, what the fuck is going on? Because apparently he's the viewer. And They managed to successfully rob the bank and hold up the entire bank with the power of music, and they get away with the money. At which point, the security guard, instead of stopping the robbery, decides, hey, let me get out my guitar that I totally know how to play and start jamming along to this song as the band gets away with all the money. That has to be, you would think that it would be like the cheesiest 90s music video ever, even cheesy for the 90s. But no, this came out in the fucking 70s back then. Yeah. Which is, hey, you know what? It's, again, a great song, but I want to know what kind of shit the director was on when they made that video. Because just describing it, I'm thinking, why? The choices are interesting for sure. Have you ever tried to hold up a bank with guitars?
No, I never attempted to. I never wanted to rob a bank, but if I would, I don't think I would use a guitar.
Let's just say that in the real world, that doesn't actually work. Anyways, so that's that first one. The second one I got is from a bit more unknown, unless you are a fan of Jared Dines, have been a fan for a while. The Order of Elijah, New Line of Defense. These guys are a metalcore band from, I'm guessing, somewhere maybe towards the Middle East. And musically, it's metalcore. Like, if you're a fan of metalcore, you're going to enjoy this band. The video is possibly the most, like, I want to say that these guys must have had fun making the video, but no. So it starts essentially like the majority of the video is either the band doing some weird like dance moves where they're fucking pumping, thrusting the air, like they're doing fucking chest pumps, or the vocalist who looks like a cracked out M Shadows is just walking along, following the camera as the camera backs up, doing like, trying to act tough, like, walking, I'm a tough guy, boom, boom, into the ground as if nothing's there, as if something's there, but nothing's there. And of course, the guitar play, at some points, the guitar player standing on top of a dam, which I thought that part was pretty cool. Although the part where he tries to act like he's soloing like Dimebag Darrell when it's just a breakdown, I thought was weird. A very interesting choice. And overall, it's a pain to watch for whatever. It's like if you were to watch, have you ever tried making any videos in like say high school, Collin? Or
yeah.
Yeah. How looking back on those videos, what were they like? If you were to watch
Honestly,
them.
I was just making fun of teenage white girls that went to Starbucks. So they were awesome. My name was Tiffany, and oh my God, my best friend Becky went to Starbucks without me, and I was so pissed off because the barista who was there, you know, the gay one, he's my favorite. Because he's the reason I made him gay. So,
Whoa.
just gotta do my typical Tiffany stuff. So yeah, I don't think that I thought that was funny,
Right. Well, most people, when they look back on anything they made years, but like decades earlier, they look back on and they're like, this is the most cracked out shit I've ever fucking watched. Why did I make this? What were the choices here? Why does this exist? Why was I making this? Like, they regret everything about the video. Watching that video is essentially that kind of feeling that you get while watching it. It's cringe more than anything else. And the reason why it's so bad that it's good is because the music is actually really good. Like, as a metalcore fanboy, I like the music. The music's really good. The video fucking sucks.
I'm sorry, baby, but you have to go.
And of course, the last one I got to pick out. It's my wild card. Metallica. Do you want to guess what video?
Metallica.
Do you want to guess?
Is it Whiskey in the Jar?
Oh, nope. I'll give you a hint. Friend, tick, tick, tock. Friend,
Is it?
tick, tick, tick. Friend, tick, tock. Holy shit, frantic. Okay, I don't know how I'm supposed to describe. The biggest reason why, first of all, it's a pain to watch audio on. Audio off, you get the weirdest, trippiest experience of all time. I don't know why we're following a fucking metal cock in the first place once we start off. If you saw the video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But most importantly, it's weird seeing. You have not seen the video? Oh, you're in for a treat. Once you actually,
I have not.
Once you pull up the video, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say metal cock. Anyways, but the majority of the video is the band trying so desperately hard to act unhinged, and yet they are not actors in any sense of the word.
At all.
Whatsoever. I feel like Tommy Wiseau could do a better job of acting unhinged than these guys. Anybody who's seen The Room knows
hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. You know, yeah, exactly. If Tommy Wiseau could have done a better job.
No, it's, oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah, there you go.
I did not hit her. I did not hit her. It's a lie. It's bullshit. I did not hit her.
That's bullshit. I did not hit her. Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah, surprisingly enough, Tommy Wiseau would have done a better job acting unhinged. And so,
wow.
That's the best way to describe it, because the rest of it, I think I blacked out for watching that music video, because, I don't know, I guess the drums finally got to me. Fuck you, Lars. So those are my three choices. So of the three music videos I've chosen, we got Robbing the Bank the cool way. We've got cringy high school music video in the Middle East, and frantic tick 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 fuck you. Of those three choices,
Breaking the law.
Breaking the law, hands down.
Breaking the law, yeah. I'm sorry, but one, it's the only one I know, but two, it's Judas Priest. And you know that music video. That music video is iconic for the right reasons.
It's a classic music video, but I'm just now. You could tell even by Judas Priest standard, the Judas Priest music video has not aged well. As music is fucking timeless, right? Music video, not so much. All right, so final round here. We've got our two music videos lined up. So between there's no real contest between robbing a bank with the rock stars or fucking the gargoyle. Collin, what is your vote for the best so bad it's good music video?
Honestly, as much as I love Judas Priest, I'm sorry, boys, but I gotta go with my pick just because it's one of those, what the hell? And here's the thing. It's not an old music video. It was made in like 2018, 2017, maybe 2019. So it's new. So they did this within the past 5 years.
Honestly, as much as I would hate to go against my own pick, I agree with you. As soon as I put them up against each other, I'm like, wait, what have I done? There's no contest here. Fucking, and it's either you're robbing a bank the cool way or you're fucking a gargoyle. That's not. There's no real contest here on which one is the most what the fuck.
No, exactly. I will say this, though. I am surprised none of us picked Primus, like a Primus music video at all.
Oh, missed opportunity. Next time.
No, that's the next podcast. Reviewing every Primus music video we could find.
Absolutely, hands down. All right, well, Collin, thank you so much once again for coming onto the podcast. Collin of Thrashers Paradise. Real quick, shout out everything you're on and shout out whatever videos you're working on now as well.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. Well, everyone, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, Thrashers Paradise. If you want to follow me personally on Instagram, it's the Sterlings _Paradise because I want to keep it somewhat relevant to Thrashers Paradise. I am currently, right now, as this is being recorded on Monday, I hope by this point, whenever this video is up, my review of Malice Divine's self-titled debut full length is out and into the world. You can also check out my previous couple of interviews. I talked to St. John's, Newfoundland black metal band Arctic about their upcoming release. I talked to Rain, a Chicago thrash metal band, about what's happening with them. And you just never know with me who's going to be my next guest, what's coming on. But also stay tuned for the near future when everything's getting back to normal, because I do plan on having a kind of like a coffee talk show called Tea Time with Thrashers, and maybe Tom might have to be a guest on it.
I look forward to it if you do bring me on, man. I love bringing you on to my podcast, so I would love to see how it would work, what madness might come up if I go on your show. Well, Collin, thanks again so much for coming on to the podcast. Excellent. And as for that new video, hopefully coming out soon, if it's not out yet, make sure to subscribe to Thrashers Paradise so that you get notified when that video comes out. Or if it is out, go fucking watch the video. Collin, once again, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's a pleasure always having you on here.
Thank you so much for bringing me on, Tom. It's always a pleasure to come back on.
You just listened to MRP, the Metal Robot Podcast.
Thank you so much for listening to MRP. You can check us out online, YouTube, Metal Robot Reviews, Facebook and Twitter at The Metal Robot, and Instagram at The.MetalRobot. You can also check out everything we do on TheMetalRobot.com for videos, reviews, press, and so much more. I'm Tom McKay of Metal Robot Reviews signing off. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and I'll see you in the mosh pit next time. Have a good night.